I get a lot of questions about torque wrenches, especially if I pull one out at my club, because I think a lot of people, their only experience is like a fat wrench, the Wheeler fat wrench. And, if we're being honest, that's probably one of the poorest examples of a torque wrench for our purposes. It's pretty crude. It's not really that precise, but it's certainly better than not using anything. But what I'm hoping to do here is show you guys some different options and why, I don't know, for me, I still feel like there's no perfect system or torque wrench for what we do. I will tell you that nearly everything I'm showing you today comes from the bicycling world, because they have so many like carbon fiber parts and stuff that's really delicate, fragile in terms of shattering or cracking, that they need really good torque wrenches, seats and seat posts and wheels and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm not in the biking world, but a buddy of mine is, and that's what he's told me. So I've really looked to some of the biking sites for inspiration on torque wrenches. If you've seen my previous videos, you've seen that I'm a big fan of this D-Torque digital wrench. It comes in this case. It has a few bits, and it's been a great torque wrench. I carry it with me all the time. However, my big fault with this is that I don't use a torque wrench all the time. So there could be, honestly, months where this sits where I'm not using it, and because it's battery driven, I opened it up the other day and had a little bit of corrosion, a little bit of white corrosive powder in there, and that told me, hey, maybe I should do a deeper dive into some manual torque wrenches to see if there's something that fits my needs, but still does kind of what this one does. So this one here lets me precisely set a torque setting in inch-pounds or Newton meters or a couple other things. So there's no conversion necessary. Now, literally, I will say 2 of the other 3 that I'm going to show you are all in Newton meters, because that's how the biking world is. And I have a handy dandy conversion chart here, thanks to one of the manufacturers. And I actually have a different chart that I keep on my phone for converting Newton meters into inch pounds, because it's important, and you never know when you're going to be using somebody's tool that is in Newton meters and not inch pounds. Unfortunately, the shooting world is almost exclusively in inch pounds or foot pounds in a few cases. So let's take a look at what we've got. This is going to be, and please, feel free to blow up my comments, but this is as accurate a test as I can give you, because A, I'm not an engineer, and B, I don't have scientific testing material. So I am simply using my digital gauge as a tester for the other 2 to see how repeatable, or other 3 units to see how repeatable they are. And I'll kind of go through my love and hates. Now, this one here is nearly perfect. It is expensive. It's like 200 and something bucks now. The audible beep is pretty low, but it does have a ratcheting head. And as long as you're not wearing earplugs or earmuffs, it's a pretty darn good system. If you can't hear the beep, you do need to look and see as it hits the designated torque. So there's no feel to this unit. There's no click that you can feel. And I have to admit, a lot of the times that I'm using a torque wrench is at the range when I have, either earmuffs, earplugs, or a combination in. So for me, the feel is important on top of the click, or on top of the audible noise. So let's look at my first choice, which is the Fix-It sticks. Now, I've had other Fix-It stick units. I've had the all-in-one torque limiter. I really liked it initially. I kind of fell out of love with it because A, there is no audible or sensible. There's no tactile click to it. It is strictly visual as you watch the torque limiter turn. And for screws that are in weird places, that's horrible. Plus, you're guessing, right? You're waiting for 2 things to line up. So what I did is I ordered a different kit which has their fixed limiters in it. This one happens to be a 45 inch-pound and I believe a 15 inch-pound. And let me show you how those work. So it does come with, you can buy them in different configurations. This one comes with a little T-handle. And like all of these, so I'll back up a second and say, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of these Chapman kits. Unfortunately, the Chapman bits have this rounded head on the back, and it doesn't make them friendly to pretty much any other manufacturer. So you have to use some kind of a conversion stick, which is like this, like a regular from Home Depot that's deeper. here so that the entire socket fits down into it and works. So that's what I'm going to be using. So if we take something like this 15 inch-pound and we set it up, in fact, I think I have a shorter converter in here. So here, okay, so I'm just using a shorter converter. Okay, and this just fits in the head of the underside here. So let me turn this on, and this is a 15 inch-pound. So let's just see what happens here. So 17.5, 17.2, 17.2, 17, and I know this thing's just a little squirrely. Let me back it off just a hair here and cinch it down. Now that's me putting my thumb here and being consistent. If I were to pull away, (17.2), 17.1, so it's still pretty much consistent. It's just not consistent based on measuring it here at 15 inch-pounds. Now, it's debatable whether that, 2 inch-pounds makes a difference, and it's debatable whether this is a scientific measure. But what this does tell me is that this tool, which probably measures out 15 inch-pounds on something scientific, as do most of these, is very repeatable. It has a little bit of a tactile click to it, so if you listen, so you can hear it, but there's no feel to it. One of the things with the fix-it sticks that I will tell you is that when you reach the torque setting, it starts to free spin. So while you can just slightly over torque it, so that's 17.5, it doesn't change, right? So if I keep going, 17.3, and it just sits there. So it starts to free spin. So it's really hard. I mean, you can just wrench on the thing, and once it hits torque, and the faster I go, kind of the lower the setting. Those are all coming at 16.5, 17.5. So that was 18. So, I try to be consistent when I'm using these. So take it for what it's worth. But, so it is repeatable, and I think that's important as a takeaway. I don't love that I can't really hear the clicks if I have earmuffs on, and there's definitely almost nothing to feel, in my opinion. It's you can feel it, but it's pretty light. But Fix-It Stick makes some great stuff. I really like their carry cases. They do come with a lot of tools. They come with a 1/2 inch, which fits almost everybody's scope bases. There's nothing I had to add to this kit, so I really like it. There's very little not to like, other than if I want different torque settings, I have to buy individual limiters, which are about $40 a piece. So you kind of have to know what you want to start, or the $40 starts adding up pretty quickly. But I really like this kit. I think it's a really good choice. Now, my next setting is an Italian company called Effetto Mariposa. And these are Italian bike torque wrenches. And really love the form factor, love the feel. It's got a really nice audible click when you hit torque. And it adjusts really easy. I don't love that there's no indication that I'm on a dead center 0 somewhere, though. So, I don't know if I'm exactly on 2 or 4 or whatever, because there's no, as I pass any of these numbers, there's nothing that tells me if I'm right there. So for instance, if I go to 2 Newton meters, okay, which should be roughly 17.7 inch-pounds, okay, and I do the same test here, okay, so 14, 19, 18.4, 17.3, 19.2, 19.1, 15.4. So definitely not as consistent as the Fix-It sticks. Now, obviously, I have a wider range of adjustment, but it's far more sensitive to how you apply the pressure and the direction. Whether your thumb's up here or down here, or whether you hold it and turn it. I really like it, and I did get pretty consistent readings if I was really careful with it. But if I'm in a match, I don't know that I would love this one, simply because I don't know for sure what setting I'm on. Like there's a lot of range just in this little bit of turning, which is right around the 2. So really nice packaging. It comes with again a lot of little extras, extensions and some bits, and a really nice little roll-up carry case. There's a lot to love when it comes to this one, but I will say that it has quickly become my least favorite. It does tuck away in this little pouch here. So there is the Effetto Mariposa. Not a bad wrench, just not my favorite. All right, then we have the last one, which is made by the same company as this. It's D-Torx, or a Toe Peak, and it is the torque stick. And I initially glossed over this one because I didn't realize how cool it was going to be. I don't know, there was something about it that sort of turned me off. It comes with a little clip-on magnetic, this thing slides open, and there are bits inside that are magnetized. And overall it's kind of a cool little form factor. I can change out the bits. If I buy other bits, I could change them out and stuff. So that's good. Just like the others, I have to use an adapter to use my Chapman bits, which I don't love. But now this one takes what I liked about this one and turns it into something that I love, which is it actually has a 0 on it at each stop. So you'll notice that when I hit 2, it also hits a center line, so I know that I'm on that stop. Now, if I go around and I go to, so that was 3. Now if I stop, it's the line's at 4, and I know I'm at 4 because of this. So let me go back to 2, okay? And 2, like I said, should give me roughly 17.5, 17.7, something like that. So let me turn this on. And 16.9, 17.2, 18.4, 17.9, 17.8, 17.7, 18.1. So it's a pretty consistent 17.4 on that one. Pretty consistent. One of the other things that I did not like about this one is that there's no reverse on it. Like you can use it to loosen stuff, but it wasn't ratcheting, right? So you had to take the head off or the bit out and then move it if you needed to. This one has a ratcheting head, which is safe to go backwards on, which I really like, which just like this one here, same thing. And this here with the setting. So for me, this one and the Fix-It sticks are my top choices. And here's what I would say to you. If you want a kit that you buy once and it has the widest range of settings, like this literally will go up to like 88, almost 90 inch-pounds, right? Which is more than you should need for just about anything. There's really nothing else that you would need to go higher than that for in the gun world, because you're not going to be doing your action settings with this. If you want something that's just a carry one tool and you get all of these settings and you can feel very confident that you get a stop and you want ratcheting back and forth, I think the Torx is a very good way to go. It is priced comparatively with the Fix-It sticks. I think if you are confident in the settings that you're going to want, then I do think the Fix-It stick probably gives you a more complete package. I think their tools are a little more gun engineered. They think of you with the 1/2-inch socket. More of the bits are geared towards the shooting world as opposed to this one, which is geared to the biking world. So this one, you're going to have to pick up other bits with it to make it gun friendly. The Fix-It stick people clearly are in the gun world, so they know what they're doing. And this one measures in actual inch-pounds, so you buy 15, 18, 25, whatever it is, and you know that you've got the inch-pounds. There's no conversion necessary. This one does require you to convert. Now, for me, I just know that 2 inch-pounds and 6 inch-pounds are my two settings, or 2 Newton meters and 6 Newton meters convert to what I want for my settings on my scope rings and scope bases. So, there's not a lot of other converting going on. But if a friend needed to use it and he's got a different base and he knows that he needs 22 inch pounds, or 60 inch pounds versus 45 inch pounds, or whatever it is, this one gives you more versatility. So I'd say it's just kind of a function of what you want to do with the actual units. It's not a bad way to go. And like I said, the bits are a little more geared towards gun than these ones. So, there's kind of a, I don't want to use a cliche, a roundup of torque wrenches that I would choose. If you're asking me, because I know the comments are going to ask, which one am I going to keep in my bag? I honestly don't know yet. I have both of these in my bag right now. I've been using both of them on different occasions. I think from a size and simplicity, this one may find its way as my permanent torque wrench, but I really do love the fix-it stick stuff. So it's still a bit of a toss-up, but you're going to have different needs than I do, so use the information accordingly. Hope that helps you guys out. Talk to you later.